Hey guys, welcome to the Respawn Point, the podcast about gaming, and anything about video games, or whatever games in general. Located here in Amarillo, Texas, good old Amarillo, Texas, where it's 105 and everything melts. And apparently Walmarts get held up. But, anyways, I wanted to talk about what's going on in the video game world as it is right now. We've got a lot of things. We've got E3 going on right now. We've got a lot of good games that came out right now. We've got one of my favorite that I look at right now and I love to talk about is a game called Days Gone. Days Gone is basically, if you really enjoy Last of Us, if you really like Last of Us, if you haven't played it, you suck. Go play it. Go buy a PlayStation 3 or 4, whichever you want. It don't matter. Play the game. It's really great. But when you play the game, what it looks like I said, it looks like The Last of Us, and it's got fast zombies. But in Last of Us, they were infected guys by I don't know, spores, fungus, mushrooms. I don't know. But the whole premise of the game, from what it looks like, is like post-apocalyptic, of course, because we're in a zombie world. What game isn't post-apocalyptic? But it's really fast-paced zombie game, which is kind of strange for any type of zombie game, unless you play. I'm guessing Dead Rising. Dead Rising has pretty fast zombies on there, but I mean, none that really run. But the game looks really good. The whole environment is interactable. Everything in there is very fluid. Everything in there, from what I've seen in the whole that little trailer, it's very fluid, interactive, quick time events while you're playing. It's pretty awesome. And also in E3 we've got grappling hooks, lots of grappling hooks, and for some that don't know, grappling hooks get you point A to B. There's a good example of grappling hooks, I guess, would be Legend of Zelda. If you play Legend of Zelda, you know what a grappling hook is. Yeah. And, well, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, grappling hooks. Batman, obviously, because you can't play a Batman game without grappling hooks. Titanfall 2, Dishonored 2, Recore. I don't know what Recore is, but apparently it contains grappling hooks. Horizon Zero Dawn. Grappling hooks are just a big part of games, apparently, in 2016, and I don't technically disagree with it because it's a good concept. I mean, it helps you get from, like I said, from point A to B, but also it's a grappling hook. You don't get a walk. You just shoot at something, grab onto it, pull yourself over, if that's what they do on these games. Another thing we got going on in the video game world, and if you are familiar with No Man's Sky, you're familiar with how it works. Well, apparently, Hello Games, the developers of No Man's Sky, is in a legal dispute which they just settled. The legal dispute is about the name No Man's Sky, which they were being sued for the past 3 years because someone's name of the game was called just Sky. And No Man's Sky obviously is going to be a big game. Someone had to do something about it, because now we're in 2016. Who can't you sue? So suing over No Man's Sky, that's ridiculous. And finally these guys settled that dispute and said, we can finally call our game that game. Now, its original intended release was June 21st, but now it's set for August 9th because of all this nonsense. People don't know how to leave things alone, and that's what kind of pisses video game people off or video game developers, because you can't leave them alone. Well, that game's, if you don't know what the game's about, look it up, read about it, do whatever you can about it, because it is an amazing concept of a game, and I promise you cannot explore it all. I've read about it. One of the things that I really wanted to talk about during this first little, I guess you could say, introduction to my podcast is what every person is about in 2000s. I wouldn't say every person, but we're going to be talking about games that offend people, that will offend people. Now, there's a lot of things that offend people. Lots, believe me. I've even tried to explain my brother with a whole reason about transgenders getting upset over garlic bread memes was about, and he still couldn't even understand it, which I don't technically understand. I just think it's funny. But the games, there's a few games that made this list. Like, there's the runner-ups of the top 10, or I guess we'll just go with top 5 for now, because I don't want to list all 10 of the games that it's actually like 15, but I don't want to list all of them. We're just going to go with the top 5. And so, but we'll go with some of the runner-ups. We got the Torture Game 2. We got Muslim Massacre, the game of modern religious genocide. We've also got Ethnic Cleansing. I mean, what the heck? And then, let's see, what's another good one? I wouldn't say good, but, people would find offensive nowadays. JFK Reloaded, a game where you not only get to shoot President JFK, but you can shoot him wherever you want. You can recreate the assassination, and you can do it however you want. You can shoot him in the head, like you're supposed to, or you can shoot him in the arm, the chest, wherever you're allowed. And it's ridiculous. You're put in the role of Lee Harvey Oswald, in case any of you people who don't know of your history of President JFK and what happened to him, him getting shot and blah blah blah. But you're actually Lee Harvey Oswald, and you're shooting JFK, and it is pretty bad. Another one that made the list, people probably don't know a lot about, or it kind of flew over their heads on this list, which I made, is GTA San Andreas. San Andreas. People know a lot about San Andreas, and a lot of people know that little layout, that map of San Andreas better than they know their own town. They still got to Google Maps everything, but whenever they go back to GTA San Andreas, they know that whole area. They know everything. They know where CJ lives. They know about everything. And they had a mod on there whenever Rockstar initially released it, which was called the Hot Coffee mod, which allowed players to have sex. It was a minigame where you have sex. People got so offended by that Rockstar took it off. And now you may be thinking, oh, well, I don't want my kids to see, my main character having sex, as opposed to you being able to shoot a cop, shoot whoever, pedestrians, steal cars, basically set the world on fire, but you don't want them to see them have sex. And I get it, it's pornographic and all that, but, you get to stab people with a knife on this game. And if your child is playing GTA San Andreas and you allow this to happen as a parent, good for you. You're a bad parent now. And you may be thinking, oh, it's just a game. Well, of course, then let this hot coffee mod, be part of the game without people complaining about it. And, things like this have been going on for about a while already. I mean, you can obviously do whatever you want with computer games nowadays, and, it takes a little a little know-how how to add these little modifications to one of your favorite games. I mean, holy crap, Overwatch. Someone decided to make an Overwatch porn, which Blizzard got mad, really mad. And, you know, if people are fine with games that are about murdering cops, it, it sends out a message. And if there's just like a little bit of a sex scene, or even if there's like something that even implies it, then it's just obscene, it's evil, it's degenerate. You know, people are just like, what the hell? You could have at least, you know, you could censor that out. Oh, you know, but I just want my son or daughter or whoever is watching, nephew, niece, cousin, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, I want them seeing sex. But I do want to see them, I do want to see them murder a cop. I do want to see them do this. I do want to do that. I don't know, it's ridiculous. Now, one of the games that I put on here, and some people may have like a different idea of what kind of list that they make, but I decided to put Duke Nukem on there because I know people, if this game was made like right now and the commercials were out and people were like, you know, this game looks cool, and then when they actually play it, all right, you know, they start getting offended, only because of the fact that the beginning of the game, when a player first starts a game or whatever, starts a new game, two blondes are just giving this dude head. Alright. While he's playing a video game of himself. And then you can walk Duke Nukem into the bathroom and he picks out his poop from the toilet. And then and then he just makes fun of everyone, you know. He does anything, you know. There's glory holes in there. There's half-naked women. I mean, if you were to put a situation like, if you were to make a game like this now and have all this stuff depicted in a commercial or in a game that just came out now, you would know there's a lot of people who would get mad. And then, according to a bunch of reviews and all this, it's the same like that for 6 hours. So if you would imagine killing aliens, having sex with blondes, you know, and then killing aliens again, just imagine that for 6 hours in the game. And that is Duke Nukem. Now, another game that offends people right here. It's probably one of my favorite games to play. It's one of my favorite games is because it depicted survival, stealth-based survival so well, and back in its time whenever it came out. And the game's called Manhunt. Now, if you're familiar with Manhunt, it's very, very brutal. The game takes place in you're basically in like a game show where you got to survive on your own, and you're trying to find the guy who's doing this to you. And you gotta make your way through maze-like levels, and you're tasked with killing people in various and gruesome ways. I mean, there's a lot of things you can find in there, from beating up people with bats and nail guns and all this stuff, to choking them out with paper bags. But not only you can do that, but there's different ways to do that. Like, the most basic way to kill someone with a plastic bag on the game, just put it over the head, just like you normally would. And then the next one, he would, if I remember correctly, he would put it over their heads, and then he would kick the back of their knees to where they would fall, and then he would just knead the piss out of their face. Like, it was ridiculous, until they die. And now, that's just a plastic bag. Now, as opposed to stabbing them in the face with a knife, or sticking axes into them, I mean, it's ridiculous. You would know a lot of people would be like, this is not humane. You know, this is okay in Grand Theft Auto, but this is not okay as to put it in a focus to, this is how you need to survive, as opposed to Grand Theft Auto, to where it's optional to do it. But in this game, you can do it. You have to do it to survive. Otherwise, you'll die. And I mean, you're you're just a lawyer named Jack Thompson, and you're just basically it's basically someone labeled it as a murder simulator. And now they made a part 2 which came out on the Wii a while back, and it was banned in a country. I don't remember what country it was, but it was banned in a country for being too gruesome. And I believe it. Another one on the list is a Super Columbine Massacre RPG. Now, if you're not familiar with the Columbine shooting, then you need to read it, because it's pretty bad. Two kids went into their school with guns, obviously, because that's what happens during the shooting, and they go and they start obviously shooting. Not only that, they have I believe it was grenades, flash grenades. Don't quote me on that. I may be wrong, but I know they had small automatic weapons, and they went in there. It was pretty bad. But what were they gonna? Someone decided to make light of one of the one of America's worst instances of school violence. Pretty bad. And the game, it's obviously it's an RPG, so it's gonna get to a point where you've got to control the character on how you do everything on this. And the reason it's made on this list is because the game was super complex for an RPG game. Like, someone took their time to put this game together into an RPG-based game. Now, if you're not familiar with RPG, it stands for role-playing game. A role-playing game, you make your own character, you choose how they're built, how they interact with other people. Sometimes you can even make them stupid as rocks. You make them dumb as hell. You don't even have to talk in the game. Now games, you don't even have to talk. But the game, it takes place at Columbine School, and it's pretty bad. The game usually ends up the way the people did, or the shooters did over the Columbine shooting. End up killing yourself. And the reason I put this in there is because someone obviously took the time to make this game. Took the time to make a game about this really bad instance. It's almost as bad as being like, oh, hey, Amarillo, Texas, I'm gonna make a game about your SWAT team going in and shooting this Somalian guy. Now, that may not be bad because you're saving someone, but it's still bad because it's an instance that happened in America. It's an instance that happened in someone's hometown where it affected them personally, and you do not want to get either yelled at by a bunch of people or get sued because of the fact that these people don't like that. Well, refrain from making any video games about anything that recently happened. You will get in trouble. Another game, and I played this game before. It's called Postal 2. Postal is a game developed by people named Running with Scissors, and in the game it says that this game is for pure entertainment purposes. Now, if you're fine with being able to go and insult people, shoot people, find priests, beat them up with your own fist, kick them. You can even pee on people, break into people's houses. You can steal their stuff. And I'm not bashing on the game. That's just stuff that you can do. That's the things you can do on the game. One thing you can do, you can attach a cat to the end of your assault rifle or shotgun and use it as not a suppressor, but as an attachment. There's no point to it. There's no point to the attachment. You put your gun like that, and it's crazy. It's just a sandbox of senseless slaughter. It's being on people, and it's just crazy. And then you can there's one point in the game where your character will run in. You can run in there with your gun, and he'll start calling everyone in their ragheads. And these guys are Indian, and I'm almost certain they're Indian because they sound Indian. And I'm not just saying that, but and there's also a mission where you have to go to the hospital to get yourself treated for gonorrhea. And it's just crazy. They're already... Actually, I'm sorry. They made Postal 3. It's the same thing, but worse. And now, I don't know what you guys think about this game. I don't know. I thought it was a fun sandbox of things that, it's just things that there's no rules on this game. You're almost entitled to do whatever you want on this game, and whether you're offended or not, that's up to you. But this game, it's just ridiculous. Now, this last one, pretty bad. Now, right now, I'm just telling you, if you have a weak stomach or whatever, don't listen to this. If you're offended in any type of way, and disclosure on this there's a lot of stuff in here. This number one game is called Rapeplay. Now, with a name like that, you already know that it's pretty bad. And not a lot of people know what this game is, because it was released in Japan, 2006. And people labeled it rape simulator as opposed to, Manhunt being the murder simulator. This one's a rape simulator. Illusion Software. It was released in 2006 in Japan. The game was dumped over here in 2009, but it's pretty much forgotten. No one knows what it is. But it's for those few who do know what it is. It's bad. It puts the player in the shoes of a rapist. What a surprise for there. You stalk women on trains, through train stations, as well as train station bathrooms. Other, related stuff like that, you just you basically stalk them until you corner them, then mercilessly rape them. Don't screw up because if you rape them incorrectly, the girl will twist around and stab you in the chest until you die. Which, if you enjoy the game or not, then that's pretty bad. But for the game, good. Good for the person who decided to get stabbed, who decided to make the person who got caught get stabbed in the chest. That's what rapists deserve. And this game is just really bad. And Japan, I wouldn't say loves doing this, but they enjoy making games like this because of the fact that there's people who do enjoy it and they can make money off this. And now you can make a game about whatever that ties into a certain type of demographic, and apparently this game tied into a demographic of rapists, people who can satisfy their need to stalk other women in trains and all this other. And as far as the game goes, it says women, and you obviously know that it's a man, I'm guessing, because you never hear of a woman trying to rape another woman or whatever. I guess it's just the most common, the common thing that they can do about it, and it pertains to whoever condones this stuff. Good job, Japan. Way to step up your video game thing. And it's just, things are bad whenever people decide to make raping games and all this stuff. And there's a point to where there's a line in video games where I just say enough is enough. I stop playing at some points. Like, I almost stopped playing the Stick of Truth. And for those of you who don't know what happens in the Stick of Truth, there's one part that's real bad. And I almost stopped playing, but I couldn't because the game was fun. But the idea of the game, it kind of just threw me off. And it's the abortion clinic, Nazi zombies, the aborted babies come back from the dead as Nazi zombies, and you have to fight them. It's real bad. I'm an avid video gamer. Really, I play a lot. I play a lot of video games, and not only video games, but I do a lot of gaming in general. And by gaming, I mean I play board games, card games. But I don't discriminate. Whatever game you want to show me, I will play it. I will try to find a way to have fun with it, somehow or another. I love Magic the Gathering. I love Xbox. I love PlayStation. I love computer. I do not discriminate. I am a gamer. That's all there is to it. But this is going to be the end of my episode 1 of, I guess you can call it, my video game rant. And I will see how many others I will be able to post. And so until next time, you guys take it easy.